Welcome back to Ozarks Fox AM. It's time for another Intrigue Journal with our friend Sean Paul. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I try and find stories that will challenge people's reality and what they generally think about things. That's why we talk about aliens and ghosts and government cover-ups and archaeology and things like that. But I've been working on this story for about a month now, and I talked to some very amazing people. And even doing the research, it makes the hair on my arm stand on end.
Can't
it really
wait.
does, yeah. And it goes back very far for me. When I was 5 years old, I would not take a bath for a certain period of time.
Why?
Because I had been traumatized by the most successful film, financial success ever made.
Jaws.
That is correct, yes. And I didn't even see the movie. I didn't have to. They had posters. The artwork was everywhere. Let's see that poster.
I mean,
That is terrifying if you are 4 years old,
Yes,
right?
it is. Absolutely.
And then they played the commercials, and you'd see Roy Scheider screaming, "Get out of the water!" And he'd say stuff like, "You're going to need a bigger boat." That's all I saw. I didn't see the movie, and I wouldn't take a bath.
Your poor mother.
For me, this is personal.
Okay, I
Yes,
got you.
this is personal, okay? And first time I went into the ocean, it was on my mind. And I was an adult at the time, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, but if you do the research, people say that, well, sharks are misunderstood. They really are.
Right.
But there are casualties. There are victims. And let's look at some of the numbers. I got a little graph here. I guess that's centered, but... okay, we can't quite see what the number is, but I tell you what it is. In the last 60 years, there have been 4,000 attacks.
Really?
4,000 attacks.
4,000?
Yes. And if you look there, you can see on the column right there, there have been 439 fatalities.
That's a lot.
Yes. 35 of them were in the United States, 73 in Australia.
I was going to say, Australia's big.
And not as big as Africa.
Really?
94 fatalities. And you know what? They're not numbers. These are real people. I've done the research. I don't have time to tell you about each person case by case, but they're engaged, and they go surfing and taken out by a great white shark. Body surfing, a triathlon, a father, 66 years old, dead. And so some of the most common attacks come from great white sharks, bull sharks, and tiger sharks. So it's a real deal, right?
Right, it is.
Let's go to Hawaii. Okay,
I would love to, actually.
On the map, yes, yes. Okay, and yes, this was what it looks like when they shut it down. But let's go to the map, and let's go from Cullerton, from right here to Springfield to Hawaii. All right? And what we're going to do, yes, it's quite a jaunt, isn't it?
Wow.
It is.
Yes.
That wasn't scary at all.
And this business is called One Ocean Diving, okay? And this is how we're going to challenge the reality. Let's go to the next slide, and let's take a look at that movie poster once again. We're going to go to that poster, and
Jaws?
this is, yes, and this is going to be, actually, yes,
There
the movie poster versus, now you tell me, what is the difference between what we're looking at right here and I'm hoping that this may or may not be the right one. I think we need to go to slide.
That one.
There we go. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. That is reality. The first one was fiction. That really happened.
Does she want to be there?
She's thrilled beyond words to be in that position. Can you imagine that? We're challenging our reality by what's actually taking place in Hawaii. One Ocean Diving. Now we'll go back to that slide. They've created a business. The founder's name is Ocean Ramsey, and I spoke to Kayleigh Burns. She takes people out on boats into the ocean, a group of tourists, and they go to a part in the ocean that's densely populated with schools of sharks. We're talking about sandbar sharks, Galapagos sharks. When they pull up, this is what they start to see. They see a, look at that.
Oh, wow.
And they get out of a perfectly good boat.
What do they have to sign to do this?
Very good question, right? And they swim with the shark. It's not just men that are jumping in there that know what they're doing. It's women and children.
Why?
That are...
They have to feed them really well. They must feed them really well before
You know,
they come.
but look, this is what you get to swim with. You get to swim with a full-on school of sharks. Apparently, they have a 100% safety success record. Nobody has gotten hurt, but I would love to be their insurance agent when they're applying for a policy. And he's going, okay, your business is what? You're going to do... Look, there's a child.
This is incredible.
Swimming with the sharks.
I have no desire.
Well, they say that sharks are 95% passive, and they sometimes go, okay, now this is a tiger shark, one of the 3 species that, and this is from Kayleigh Burns, and it swims towards them. They don't swim away. They reach out and touch it. Watch its eye as they actually make contact with the shark. You got to get, because if you do the research and you want to find out what that eye is doing when they actually make contact with it, here we go. It actually rolls back. Because they have a protective membrane that protects their eye when they are attacking their prey.
Oh!
And yet they're reaching out and petting it like it's a dog. Now, this is Ocean Ramsey. This is spectacular. She has actually been able to determine a shark's behavior when it's actually passive. She's dancing with it. This looks elegant, majestic, and yet terrifying.
Terrifying.
All at once. Now, they're not advocating that people say, oh, I guess it's not a big deal, and jump into the water with sharks. They are actually able to, the dorsal fins, when they're actually out at their sides and not drooping down, that does indicate that they're safe and they're not interested in eating.
If they're,
if they're erect and out to their sides.
So if they go like this, down, that means on their...
Next slide, they're monitoring sharks, and all of a sudden, up from the depths comes deep blue. 22 feet long, 4 feet in diameter, had been feasting on a whale carcass, and Ocean Ramsey went down and started dancing with it. Just to put things into perspective, this is how big this great white shark was.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Look at that. And they said it was very gentle. Actually, she's a grandma. They said she's pregnant. And she's probably one of the oldest and largest great whites on the planet in recorded history.
The shark is a grandma.
Yes, that one.
I thought you were talking about the lady.
No. She's not anywhere near being a grandma. There's so much information about here. They're on a crusade. They want to save the sharks. They really do, because 70 to 100 million sharks are killed every year for something called finning.
What is that?
They want to serve shark fin soup at weddings in Asia.
Really?
Yes. And so what they do is they catch the shark, cut off all the fins, and throw it back alive.
No.
And it's a very tragic death. Only to make this shark fin soup. This is actually, we're going to go and do another episode in a couple weeks about weird things that people eat from all around the world, and that would be one of them. And they say it's not even that healthy for you, because sharks have number 3 species for having the highest level of mercury
I've heard
in
that,
them.
yeah.
Yes.
And Jean-Paul, I don't even want to be near them, but I don't want them to die a tragic death either.
No,
No. And it really does help the ecosystem. Now, there was one burning question.
Oh,
by the way,
no, sorry, we're out of time.
I'm sorry,
we're out of time.
I asked her, though, what would you do? What would happen if you jumped into the water and you didn't realize you were bleeding?
Oh.
Would you still want to jump in the sharks?
Well, you're going to have to hold that there, because we can't get to the answer yet.
Go to intriguejournal.com for the answer to that burning question.
Yes.
And they are freedivewithsharks.com.
All right.
That's interesting. I love this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be back to wrap things up right after this. I would never get in there.
Never.
Never.
She must